And after your son graduated high school, did you continue to receive those child support payments?
I did.
Have you returned any of the excess money since your son graduated high school to Mr. Guy?
No, I have not, sir.
What are the reasons why you didn't return the money?
Emotional, physical needs. I mean, he was never there for my child.
My brothers, you gotta file your paperwork. What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to Roll the Clip TV. Your host, Roberto, back in the house. So today we'll be looking at a case of two cases of actually child support. I'm gonna hold my commentary to the end. So this is two men where the judge ordered the women to pay the man back. Roll the clip.
The child support calculation that was giving her so much child support had her income at $15,000 per year. When we recalculated child support, the child support was at $50,000 per year for Ms. Chilton's income. And that was what it was recalculated on. Client's kind of stuck where he's overpaid child support for years, essentially.
I was not trying to be deceiving in any way, not working prior to that due to COVID. And then I started working part-time, and the child care that I was asking to be paid for at that time was not being paid for. So that's when the child support came up, because he wasn't meeting his obligation that we had agreed upon.
Okay. Well, in this particular case, I'm not going to address the issue of the amount of support because that was changed and it's already been resolved. I understand the arguments, but it would be inequitable to charge the plaintiff an amount, and again, it would in essence have him paying over $7,000 that he should not have had to have paid had it been calculated at that correct amount at that particular time. So the court is going to grant the motion for the repayment.
The Attorney General's office states that you overpaid child support by $13,476.88. And after your son graduated high school, did you continue to receive those child support payments?
I did.
Have you returned any of the excess money since your son graduated high school to Mr. Guy?
No, I have not, sir.
What are the reasons why you didn't return the money?
Emotional, physical needs. I mean, he was never there for my child. It's more to take raising a child than finances.
So is it a hardship for you to repay the $13,000?
It's not, sir, but why should I be obligated to pay something that I feel like I didn't own? He chose when to take care of my child.
So it sounds like it's an equitable argument that child support didn't go back far enough when it was initiated.
It did not. We have 9 years where I did this solely on my own. I mean,
Objection, non-responsive. This is narrative.
All right, here's the deal, ma'am. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Again, this is kind of straightforward. Is there any other reason? I'm sorry, I can't go behind the order of 2011, ma'am. So is there any other reason that you're alleging that happened after 2011 that you should be granted some type of credit for as far as the overpayment is concerned, ma'am?
Absolutely, sir.
All right, what's the reason, ma'am?
Emotional, physical needs. I mean, he was never there for my child. It's more to take raising a child than finances.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, the medical bills, the dental, all of these things.
So I'm kind of torn on this one, y'all. I got friends who are on child support. I personally have never been on child support, but I know enough information about it and how it works and what's fair and what's not fair. But first, let me just start by saying this. One of the key things in child support, when they do with kids, period, the second lady, the judge asked her a very key question that we all gotta, not we, but when you're dealing with this kind of issue that you gotta ask yourself, because it can't be emotional. She said she took care of the kid for 9 years. The father really wasn't involved in the kid's life. So she took care of the kids for 9 years. And so by the time the child was a certain age, she put him on child support. The judge didn't care because I guess in this particular state, they're not gonna go way back. It's gonna start from when the mother files or father files the paperwork. I'm talking from a male perspective, and most men are on child support. I don't know anybody who's a female or woman, a mother that has ever been on child support, but I'm sure it's there. So let me say this, y'all. Her statement was, he wasn't there to help raise the kid, and she did it for a while. When it comes to anything dealing with child support, custody, my brothers and sisters, you gotta file your paperwork. Let me start this commentary by saying this, because this much I do know enough about. You got to file your paperwork. There is no scenario, no matter how emotional you get, how mad you are because she wanted you to see the kids, how much money you give on the side that's not documented. We ain't talking about all that, y'all. We'll talk about that in a minute. But up front, you got to file your paperwork. Ladies, you have to file the paperwork. The judge does not care about he said, she said. He wants to see what you're making, what he's making, when the pay dates are, and they're going to issue the judgment based upon that. I'm not saying it's fair. I hate the fact that men's check gets garnished, but I get it. Sometimes that is the only way to get the money from the biological father. Sucks, I get it, but this is the world we live in. I hate the fact they got to garnish it because in many, many cases, there are many men who, don't say it. Yeah, I'm going to say it. There are many men who can't even afford to survive after the child support payment is taken out. So before y'all beat me up, I know, who cares? He shouldn't have made the kid. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is going to lead me to my next point, y'all. I think that which is a bigger conversation, and for anybody who's ever been divorced, a breakup, child support, custody, any type of these issues, you're going to attest to what I'm about to say right now. This leads to a bigger conversation that we all have to be careful who we lay down and sleep with and have kids with. A moment of pleasure will lead to a lifetime of freaking consequences and repercussions, my brothers and sisters. Salute, salute. A moment of pleasure, y'all, will lead to 18 years, God forbid, and in many cases, 20 years, 30 years of heartache and pain. The larger conversation is that we meet people in a certain moment in our lives and we think, oh my God, this is so wonderful. In that moment, it may be wonderful, but we're not looking far enough ahead to say, you know what, that person's going to be a pain in 5 years from now, because we ain't thinking that far ahead. So that is the larger conversation. But I digress back to this situation. So the first individual, the judge ordered the woman to pay him back $8,000. If a father is involved in a kid's life on a consistent basis, when a breakup happens, I get it. People get mad. People get emotional. And so a lot of times, in many, many cases, it's just vengeance. It's just anger. It's just emotion. But if there is a father who is willing to deal with the anger, deal with the discomfort of dealing with the ex to take care of their kids or to be in their kids' life, I got to applaud that dude for that. So he's going to get his child support taken out. He ain't going to argue. If the child calls for something extra, he is going to be there every step of the way. That guy doesn't get enough credit. And I believe that was the first guy. The first case we saw, I believe that was him. Because she didn't have a whole lot of comeback. She lost her income during 2020, which we all know was COVID. I'm not saying that this was the case. This is my speculation. Y'all know, like I know, during COVID, people were making more off of unemployment. Anyway, I'm not saying this is her case, because that's just me putting my speculation in there. But nevertheless, in that particular case, the judge ordered her to pay him back the $7,000 or almost $8,000 because he clearly overpaid. She didn't argue that he wasn't a part of his kid's life. She didn't argue that he was a sometime dad. She just said, I had a loss of income. That's a different situation. Two different scenarios here. When you have a father who is quote unquote a deadbeat dad, absolutely hands down, there is no woman on the planet that should ever have to financially, we all know raising kids is expensive. Raising kids, there is nothing, unless you're a multimillionaire, there's nothing in life that will prepare you for the financial obligation of raising. So there's no case where I believe a woman should ever be taking the brunt or the burden of financially raising a child. While I do know, I applaud you women that do that. My wife was that woman. I applaud her for her efforts at the time. I get that. But on the other hand, if my man is there, if he trying, if you want to be involved in the kid's life, but you just mad, that's just freaking wrong. That's just freaking wrong. That's just wrong. You know, I've heard this argument more than once. She's not letting me see, or at the end of the day, my brothers, you got to file the paperwork. Let me say this again. You got to file the paperwork. You got to file the paperwork. Stop text messaging. Stop freaking emailing. Stop talking to brother so-and-so and sister so-and-so. Stop going around her, but stop calling her mama. Stop calling her sisters. Stop calling her best friend. You want me to keep going? Stop doing all of it and go to court and file your paperwork. And there is consequences and repercussions that come along with that, but that is the proper way to do it. All this other sidetracking stuff, trying to guilt people into doing, we got to stop all that, y'all. We got to stop all that. Trying to get him to be involved in the kid's life and throw shade on him, calling his mama, saying, well, hey, he a no good so-and-so. Listen, at the end of the day, we are all freaking adults. You lay down with him, so be it. This is what adulting is like. The ish don't work out exactly the way we always planned it. But thank God for his grace. Thank God for his strength. And many of us have had to be strong in the face of this adversity. And I'm telling myself that. Amen. I've had to do it. You got to file the paperwork, y'all. I can't say that enough. Too many times as black people, we do certain things that's just, it feels good. You know, it may come across where it looks good, but in America, the court system could care less about the little things that that's not in writing. Brothers, if you are giving money, don't give no cash. You have to have a track record. Ladies, if he is giving cash, or if he's saying if you're claiming that he's giving you payments, and you got to have something in writing, is what I'm saying. Enough of this. Enough of the day where we as black people just freaking, well, I gave her cash, I cashed out. No. Put that ish in writing. Let's do this right. You want to see your kids? Then go through the proper channels. I know, because I've been there, y'all. I've been there. So on the first case, I'm done, y'all. I believe that she was responsible for paying him back all that money. In the second case, not so much. $13,000. She said in her case, the emotional, mental, I do believe he was not involved in that kid's life, and she had every right to keep that money. I know some of y'all brothers are going to be mad at me because quote unquote, he was still ordered by the court. It was still an overpayment, but nevertheless, I do believe that she should have kept that money in that case, y'all. Let me know what y'all think about this video. Let me know. Listen. Get at me if you want. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this one. Child support is a very big issue. There are so many mothers that struggle taking care of kids because a dad opted out of taking care of his kids. I know in some cases, not in every case, but in some cases it's an issue with the mother or the family fighting against your brother. I get that. But you got to go to court. You still got to do your best. Am I saying this solves every problem? Hell no. This is just the beginning. There's always going to be backbiting and talk. But when we get emotional, we play into the hands. And that's what the court is looking for. See, unfortunately, I'm talking from the black perspective. When we stand in front of a judge as black people, the judge is looking at us like, well, since y'all didn't know since y'all couldn't work it out, y'all wasn't adult enough, y'all too ghetto, y'all too, so I'm gonna do it for you. I never wanted that to be my life. I never wanted to stand before a judge. I never wanted to. Let me close with this freaking story. My youngest daughter, she had turned 18 years old. I'm done after the show. Turned 18 years old. One day in the mail, I got a letter that said I had to start paying child support at 18. I don't even think she knows this. The subject X, from what I understood, went down to the welfare office. Welfare came out. Welfare, in New Jersey, they could care less about your situation. Had to start paying. Made a couple of payments. Said I'm very dogmatic in my thinking. And so I didn't let months go by and let this amount of money start to accumulate. I dealt with that joint right away. I went down to the welfare office first. I sat with the lady. I said, my daughter's 18 years old. She's not in school. Had she been in college, I would have paid. Wasn't in school. The lady said, well, so-and-so subject X provided a email address to a school. The lady let me see the email address. I said, that's subject X personal email. Called my daughter on the phone, 18 years old. Baby, you in school? No, I'm not. The lady sitting right across from the worker, hung up the phone. The lady said to me, Mr. Ballard, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. The paperwork was filed. She said the only way you can solve this issue is get your daughter emancipated. Can I tell y'all, real talk, this SHIT hurt like HELL. I know I could have just said it, spelling, but I'm doing it because of the algorithms. Because I'm like, I was forced. See, because if you let this continue, now the amount of money starts to add up, and Jersey will lock you up, period. So I was more concerned about being locked up more than anything else. And Jersey just don't lock you up and you get out a couple days later. So after I had to go through the grueling process of finding out how to unfortunately emancipate my child because she was of age at this point. And it was a horrible decision. I did what I had to do. I found an office. I did my own paperwork, filed the paperwork. I did my own paperwork. Filed it, got my court date. I was hoping that everybody showed up so I can at least tell my story so that my child doesn't think I'm some type of freaking mean, cruel individual. Because this is the situation that some subject X's put the man in. So brothers, I'm trying to tell you, I get what it's like in some cases. In some cases. And in some cases, the women go through this. I sat in court alone. The judge called me up and said, Mr. Ballard, blah, 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 blah. Are you here by yourself? Yes. Do you have anybody to represent me? No, I represent myself. Why? Because I could do that. And he said, there's no one here to oppose you. Granted. Done. Child support, everything stopped. Sucks, y'all. Freaking sucks. Sucks. That is a larger conversation. Having kids with somebody that, anyway, you guys understand my point, right? Thank you for checking out Roller Clip TV. Let me know what you think about this video. Get at me in the comments. Brothers, get at me in the comments. Let me know what you're going through. At least be a sounding board. I can't stress get that paperwork in enough. I'll see y'all in the next video. Do me a favor. On your way out, can you hit the subscribe button? All right? Peace.
Something to say. Hey, you got something to say.